Today, we're going to peel back the layers on something that's shrouded in mystery and, let's be honest, a lot of hype: the Tor network. It's this technology that promises you can be a ghost online, completely anonymous. But what is it really, and how on earth does it work? Well, let's dive in and find out.
I mean, just think about that for a second. What if every single click, every search, every message you sent just vanished into the ether with no trail leading back to you? That is the incredible promise at the heart of the technology we're exploring today. All right, so let's start at the very top layer. What is Tor in the simplest terms? At its core, Tor is two things. First, it's free software you can download. And second, it connects you to this massive global network. And get this, the network isn't run by some big corporation. It's powered by thousands of regular people all over the world who volunteer their computers as relays. And the whole point, the entire reason it exists, is to make it incredibly difficult for anyone to see who you are or where you're coming from online. It's all about separating your identity from your destination. Think of it as a powerful digital cloak of invisibility. So, how does it pull this off? Well, the magic behind the curtain is a really clever process called onion routing. This is where things get interesting, so let's peel back that first layer and see what's inside. Honestly, the name tells you everything you need to know. Onion routing literally takes your internet traffic and wraps it up in multiple, tough layers of encryption. Just like, you guessed it, the layers of an onion. This is the fundamental idea that makes Tor so powerful. So picture this journey. Instead of your computer talking directly to a website, Tor sends your data on this wild, random, three-stop trip through its volunteer network. At each stop, one layer of encryption gets peeled away, which only reveals the next stop in the chain. Then, that final computer, the exit relay, sends your traffic out to the regular internet with absolutely no clue where it originally came from. And here's the secret sauce, the most crucial part. No single computer in that three-stop chain knows the full story. The first one knows you sent something, but not where it's going. The last one knows where it's going, but not who you are. And the one in the middle, it knows basically nothing. That's how it works. That's the genius of it. Okay, so who's actually using this thing? I think the answer is going to surprise you. It's a way more diverse crowd than the stereotypes would have you believe. And this is where the story takes a huge twist. Tor wasn't dreamt up by some hacker in a dark basement. No way. The core idea, onion routing, was actually developed back in the 90s by the U.S. Naval Research Lab. Yeah, the U.S. government. They wanted it to protect their own intelligence communications. It wasn't until later that it was released to the public and became the nonprofit Tor project we know today. And because of those origins, the user base is, well, it's all over the map. You've got journalists and activists in repressive countries who depend on it for their safety, but you also have law enforcement using it for undercover work, whistleblowers leaking information to the press, and even victims of domestic abuse hiding from their stalkers. And of course, there are tons of just normal people who are sick of advertisers tracking their every move. The Tor project itself puts their mission in really stark terms. They basically say, look, criminals are always going to find a way to be private. So shouldn't the rest of us, the good guys, the normal people, have that same right to privacy? It's all about leveling the playing field. But we can't talk about Tor without talking about the elephant in the room, right? We have to address its connection to the so-called dark web and all the illegal stuff that comes with it. This is definitely the darkest layer of the onion. I mean, it's a double-edged sword. The same powerful anonymity that protects a journalist can also be abused. It allows people to create these onion services, websites that you can only get to through Tor. And while some are used for good, a lot of them aren't. And that creates a massive image problem. So let's look at the actual data to see how big the problem is. Now, this is from a 2016 study, but it found that of the active onion services at the time, a little over half, about 57%, were being used for illicit things like black markets. That's a huge number, and it really shows you the dilemma of this technology. But on the other hand, you have people like Eva Galperin from the Electronic Frontier Foundation who make a really good point. The public narrative is totally skewed. You never see a headline that says, "Activist avoids prison thanks to Tor." But you definitely see the bad stuff, and that, she argues, is what shapes how the entire world sees this tool. So after all that, you might be thinking Tor is this perfect, unbreakable shield of anonymity. Well, let's peel back one final layer to look at its limitations. Because the short answer is Nope, it's not. So if it's not perfect, then where are the cracks in the armor? What are the actual limitations we're talking about? Okay, this is a really important distinction. Tor is fantastic at protecting the middle of your connection, but it can't really protect the two ends. So if some powerful adversary can see the traffic leaving your computer and see the traffic arriving at the website, they can sometimes play a game of connect the dots. Same goes if the website you're visiting isn't secure. So while trying to break Tor's actual encryption is nearly impossible, your anonymity can be broken in other ways. Attackers can try to match traffic patterns, or a volunteer running that last exit computer could be malicious. But you know what the most common vulnerability is? It's just simple user error, someone accidentally revealing something personal. In the end, we're often the weakest link. Ultimately, Tor forces us to confront this really fundamental question. You've got a tool that can free the oppressed and protect the vulnerable, but it can also shield criminals. It makes you wonder, in a world where we're being watched more and more, is true anonymity a basic human right? Is it a vital tool for a free society, or is it just too dangerous of a threat? The answer, just like the network itself, has a whole lot of layers.